Everybody had their own thing to say, but we are still alive and we are kicking. We can only give thanks to God. I am very excited to come your way another Wednesday, beautiful Wednesday evening with this story. It is fun, it is interesting, it is educational, informative, and all the good adjectives you can find. It was sent to us through our WhatsApp number. So I keep telling you that when you have any real life story, whatever you're going through, you can send it to us through our WhatsApp number or email address. And we will make sure we find the best group of people to come together, discuss it, and help you find some comfort or consolation, and even some solution. And that is exactly what we have done tonight. We have found you the best group of people, amazing people, women, men, clinical psychologists, all that you can think of, just to help this gentleman who is obviously going through a lot. So I'll go straight ahead and introduce them to you. Because of protocols from COVID-19, we've been doing these Zoom virtual discussions as well, and today is no different. So I have 2 people in the studio joining me and 3 joining me virtually. I'll start with my guys in the studio. I have Cynthia Mensah. This is her second time coming on the show. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you doing? It's been a while.
I'm great.
I mean, it's been a while, yeah, even though I see you all the time.
Yes, yes, it's been great. It's been great.
We are very excited to have you.
Well, the story is something else. After you sent it to me and I read it, I'm like, well, we'll listen to everybody's take, and we all have our different views of things. So yes, I guess everybody's input matters.
And that's what RealtalK is about. Daniel.
Hi, Evie. Hi, Evie.
This is obviously Ross, a new face in the studio. But how are you doing? How is Ellis Mukase?
Ellis Mukase is doing so well. We give praise to God.
Yeah.
It's not been easy, but we're soldiering on.
Yeah, but I know. Tell us a little about with your cleaned, prepped, well, vegetables, fruits, all of that.
Okay, so Ellis Mukase is a foodstuffs hub. We say we are the number uno in Ghana.
Okay.
What we do is that we deliver cleaned, prepped up food products to people at the convenience of their homes or offices. Anywhere you want us to bring it to you, we'll get it ready and bring it to you.
Yeah.
So apart from the foodstuffs, we also have some packaged products like shito, Tom Brown, we have fine pepper, we have, I mean, the Mukase Queen is doing a great work.
Yeah.
And I am pushing and supporting her all the way through.
Thank you so much. You guys are doing amazing.
Thank
so you guys said, now you're supposed to buy things in bulk so that you don't go out anyhow. So you have to contact them for your well-prepped fruits, veggies, and any other food stuff you'll be looking for. So joining me virtually, I have Greg Davis. He's joining me all the way from the Republic of Ireland. He is a psychotherapist. Please, can you hear me, Mr. Davis? I can't hear you. I don't know if it's your microphone or it's from my end. Okay. Please, how are you and how I don't know, how is Ireland? Are you guys okay with regards to COVID-19 and all these new protocols that we are facing?
A lot of the restrictions have been sort of lifted, but you know, human beings, people are still being a little difficult, and there are concerns that there may be some lockdown again or some localized lockdown. But by the grace of God, things are getting well. Things are getting better.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's an amazing pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
To be here.
And all the way from Kumasi, I have Jemima Opong Efri. Jemima, can you hear me? Hello, Jemima. If Jemima cannot hear me, I don't know if Robert Esilfi, all the way from Cape Coast, can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
So, Robert, how are you doing? Please say hi to your church members, the ones you are representing.
Hello?
Yeah, Robert, I can hear you. I was just asking you to just say hi to your church members, where you are representing, and any how you're doing, how is COVID-19 treating all the people in Cape Coast?
My greetings to all the youths of Berean Church and the elders of the Berean Church.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'll try and get back and check in back with Jemima, but you guys, are you ready?
Number ready, man.
Okay, so you know how we do it on this show. We'll go for a quick break, but before we do that, we'll take a look at our story. Do not go anywhere. This is RealtalK. We'll be right back.
Dear RealtalK, I write to you as a confused and deeply troubled man. I have tried all I can, but I can't seem to stop watching pornography and masturbating. In fact, I can't control myself when it comes to sexual sin. I am a baptized Christian. I have even gone ahead to baptize a second time just to do away with the habit, but I am still struggling and always find my way back to it. Just recently, I informed the mother of my girlfriend that I would like to marry her daughter, and she agreed. I can't even tell you how it happened, but I ended up sleeping with both mother and daughter. My girlfriend doesn't know about this. I write this in tears because I am full of guilt. What even makes it worse is that I teach Bible studies in my church. What is happening in my life? I don't know what to do, but I want to turn back to my Redeemer. Should I baptize again for a reform?
Welcome back from that quick break. You're still watching RealtalK right here on Hope TV. I'm sure you've seen our story. I told you. You guys, this young man, he says he wants to baptize 3 times. He's frustrated. Mother and daughter. Okay. Cynthia, your general take on the story.
The general take is, I mean, you read the story and then it hits you and you go like, wow. But it's something that happens.
Yeah.
You know, we shouldn't, one, I don't think we should stigmatize the guy or anything of that sort, but we should look at it from a different perspective, that it could be me. You think that maybe he's so weak and he's falling, but the same way that he's falling, I could fall the same way. So for me, it's something that applies to everyone. And let's turn the tables a bit. If it was a woman, it's the same thing. We have girls sleeping with married men. Sorry, I beg your pardon.
Oh, some are even.
You know, so it's not something that it's something that is so real and it's out there. So for me, that's the first take. That's yes, it's real.
Yeah.
And it happens out.
It happens. Anyhow.
Yes. Not very different from Cynthia. I mean, when I read the story the first time, I was like, wow. But as I sat down to think about it, and I immediately began to see that this thing is actually happening. It's not as if it's the only case around. It is happening. Just that he has the boldness to share his story for us to discuss and help him. So for me, my first comment is Jesus saves. Yes, and there's help out there. And the fact that he can write for help is the first, the first step to seek for a lasting solution. He has identified that he has a problem. He has seen that he of himself cannot solve the problem. He needs an external power, an external information to help him solve it. I think by the grace of God, by the time we are done this evening, God will help him to get out of this demon.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Davids, I don't know. What is your take on the story? What came to mind?
Well, the first thing that came to mind is that this gentleman needs help. This gentleman is suffering from addiction, severe addiction, and he would need help to deal with it. He's been trying all the ways possible. He's been, from what I read, he has been baptized twice, and from what the statement is there, with the hope of getting rid of this. So it starts from pornographic addiction that is there, but this is purely sex addiction. He's addicted to it. And when it gets to addiction, it's simply at the point where there is an obsessive and a compulsive behavior, if it's not even a disorder. So a disorder is when the addictive behavior now have a significant impact on your functionality, to the extent where you begin to take risky steps, doing things that is even against your own values and belief systems, and even going to the extent of even breaking laws and all of that. And addictive behavior is fueled by things that are rooted deeply way back into the past. So this thing is not, look, simply put, this, for lack of words, let me say, deviant behavior is only a symptom to an underlying problem. And I think as time goes on, we will look into that deeply.
Okay.
But there is hope for him, but he's using the wrong method in trying to deal with it. And maybe from a clinical point of view, I would share a few things that can help or would help him to deal with it. But it is on the surface. I've not done any diagnostics, but if we're just to go purely by what he has shared so far, this is a very compulsive and a very obsessive, addictive behavior that he's gotten himself to. And like Daniel said, this needs treatment. It does need treatment. And if you keep it in the quiet, it won't go.
Right. Jemima, I can see you're back online. Can you hear me? Okay. Then I'll move to you, Robert, and take your general take on the story. What do you think of this story? What is going through your mind?
Like they have all said, it's obvious that he's suffering from sex addiction, and I would say that he's a very strong person to come out and be bold to say they want to get out of it. And so I can say that though he's suffering from addiction, once he has actually made pronunciation that he wants to come out of it, then he's ready to what? Get a solution. And so since the man is ready to get out of it, I think it's half solved. And I would say that it's not only young people or men who are going through this, even including married men and women, going through sex addiction and pornography, just that it's difficult to come out. We fight within ourselves. So that's why I'm saying that since he has come out to say that he suffered from that and he wants a help, then it's half solved. That's my take on it.
Okay, thank you so much, Robert. Jemima, I don't know if you can still hear me. If you can.
I can hear you.
Okay, so Jemima, then I will take your general take on the story. What do you think of the story? What do you think the young man is going through?
First of all, actually, after reading the entire story, I was like, wow. And I think that was most of our expression after reading the entire story. But then in the middle of the story, you cannot feel like sort of judge and how can he? But then when you're done and you think about it, you actually realize that he's not the only one suffering from such addiction. Probably some of us even have traits of the things that he did. And as Chaplain mentioned, actually, it's a deep-rooted issue. Not just start being addicted to sex. No, definitely there's a reason, there's a rooted cause that really exposed him to all this. And it wouldn't surprise me that it was due to probably a sort of abuse, molestation, or an exposure that he had when he was very young.
Right.
So you see, these things, I don't think we would have to really be solving it or talking about it with just the surface stuff, but it's really deep rooted.
Right.
There's definitely hope for him. And it would have also been nicer if we really had prior history to how all these things came up. Because you see, now we have this information, but we don't really know the history or the background of him or how he really got into such situation. Because there's always a cost to everything.
Right.
And usually if we want to heal people, it's better we try dealing with the cause than just the symptoms or the signs that are coming up, so that he will be really whole. He's not the only person. We have so many ladies that are also going through that. So many married people too. But I really hope that this session can sort of free him a little bit and give him directions as to what to do so that he can come out from his, I would say, his prison.
Right.
So that's really for me.
Thank you so much. That was Jemima Opong Ifriye from the Pinuel SDA Church, all the way from Kumasi. My next question. Okay, Daniel, I'll come to you.
Yes, Evie.
You know, engaging in pornography, masturbation, all kinds of these behavior, I know it has an impact, and sometimes it can be addictive. So before I take the professional or psychological aspects, what's in your opinion do you think brings about, how addictive are these behaviors? And because somebody will get up, oh, my friend, let's watch. They don't know how it's difficult to pull away from, how maybe you can't just, it's only one, oh, I'm just watching one time, then I'll be done. So I think the youth, we need to have a conversation on this, because it's not as simple as we may seem. It's not just a movie. It's not just an act, obviously.
Yes, thank you. You know, the story we are dealing with is a sad story, but like you rightly said, it begins from somewhere. We trifle with sin. We think it's nothing. We just want to watch. You see, as I began growing, because I'm not grown yet, I have gotten to a point where I now appreciate why, when I was young and you were watching some movies and it gets to sexual scenes, your dad or your mom would change the television, the station. And in your mind, you're like, but she thinks me, I don't know this. But you see, I've come to appreciate that it is better never to see. Because if it passes your eye once, it's here. It passes your eye once, it's here. You can always recollect it. You can always, it comes back to you. So the issue of pornography and masturbation, you watch pornographic movies, it stimulates your sexual hormones. You want to release. You don't have any woman or a man. Then you begin to, the most immediate thing you want to do is to masturbate so that you can get off that, you'll be able to release. You do it once, you feel, you get the satisfaction from it, you do it again, and then it becomes extremely difficult to stop it. So the point I'm trying to make is that we trifle with sin. Satan is wicked. I don't know how hard I should make this point. You don't play with him. All he needs is an opening. And if he gets that opening, it will be extremely difficult for you to get out of it. So the young people listening, don't trifle with sin. Simple and straight. Because Satan is wicked.
Yeah.
So apart from the psychological effect, it has a spiritual connotation as well.
Right.
I think I will leave it here.
I think I agree with him, because, you know, it builds on little tiny things, and by the time you realize you're caught up in it, it could be underlying issues, as you're saying, like psychological effects. There's some deep-seated issues. It could be that maybe somebody has not been exposed to maybe, let's say, sexual abuse or anything when he or she was growing up. But then you keep the wrong company, and then a friend calls you, oh. And you know, right now, the social media is so terrible. Yes. It's like everything is being sent. As soon as a video drops, everybody's like, it's just spreads like wildfire. And you can look at one. It just takes just one, nothing else. And then the interest starts building. And when you're hooked onto it, it's more than, I don't know the difference between that and you're hooked onto, let's say, heroin or something. It's so addictive because you want more. It's like it excites you. You are, you know, you are on edge. Oh, And you even end up, by the time you realize, you're searching for websites, you're spending your time. I mean, somebody goes through your history of your Google and everything, browsing, and that's your browsing history, and that's the only thing that is seen. Yes. And when it gets there, I mean, you don't joke with such things. You, as you said, you allow the devil, you give him an inch and he will take a yard.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. Right. So you just don't. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. David. Pornography, masturbation, addiction, your take from the professional point of view, and even you as a man.
Thanks for the opportunity there. You can get addicted to just anything. Just keep in mind that you can get addicted to just anything, from food to shopping. You know, we have shopaholic, we have workaholic. You can get addicted to all of that. Okay. Now, pornography also, you know, and anything that had to do with addiction also had a lot of work on your brain.
Right.
So the brain, so the brain gets what is the word? The brain gets conditioned. So, you know, just as somebody would take one maybe stick of whatever or one tiny glass of scotch, and the next time we want more and more and more, because the brain now gets conditioned, adjusted. So so the neurons will now be working to want more, because the moment you put it in there, it is conditioned, it's used to it, and then want to take more and more and more. And that is why it starts with just a glance at something, and then you want to take more and more. And once you get to another point, now you want the wildest, because now the brain is now so used to it that it sees it all as normal.
Right.
And then it begin to take control of your life. So, you know, addiction is anything that is now taking total control of your life. As I said earlier on, pornography has, we can spend weeks talking about pornography, because it does have significant impact on people's, you know, brain, the ability to focus. It has impact on relationships. People are unable to even have a very wholesome, holistic, romantic relationship. It has the potential to destroy even the most beautiful marriages there. And you heard, was it even last year, even in the UK Parliament or somewhere, somebody was caught watching pornography on their laptop in Parliament. This kind of person, their life has been completely taken over by this.
Yeah.
And it does have a very lasting impact. And that's why and most of these regulatory bodies are very concerned about even kids, because for a lot of children, their brains are still being are growing. The brains are developing and all of that. So unfortunately, like you said, pornography is everywhere. Pornography is everywhere. Now, the reason why it can even be so addictive as well is because for alcohol, people see you when you're walking to the pub. People see you when you're going over there, okay? For other, even drugs, people see you going to purchase it. But pornography is one of the most secretive things, and it's so easily transportable. It's so mobile. It's with you on your phone. Gone are the days when people will have the magazine or that old video cassette stuff and all of that. But now it's with you. You go to the church, it's on your phone, you go whatever. And so it can easily take over your life if you do not set the boundaries for yourself.
Right.
And I believe strongly that prayer has its part, but again, there are clinical work that need to be done that will help a client or any person, including the brother we're talking about.
Thank you so much for your take. Jemima, I'll come to you and ask your opinion on the same question. Hello, Jemima. Okay, then Robert, I'll move to you and ask you the same question. Pornography, masturbation, sex, addiction. Okay, hello? I can hear Jemima. If Jemima, you are back and you can hear me, I would. Robert, kindly hold on a minute for me. Let me take Jemima's take, and then I'll get back to you.
Okay, so I think as most of us have been talking about on how it's so addictive and how serious it is. And you know, the funny part is now in our world, it's actually normal or it's okay to kind of play with yourself. You tune on to the television, you watch shows, you watch programs, even movies. They display or they show that it's fine. Let's say as a lady, you're supposed to get to know yourself, get to know your G-spot, get to know what works for you before a man can even come and explore your body. And they say the same thing about a man, get to know your body. And of course, in getting to know your body, you might end up watching pornography and other things so that you'll be able to function well. Now, that is what you really see how sex is, as if it's not.
Oh, I don't know what's happening today, but I think we're having some technical problems.
Not so spiritually inclined, or it's just okay to really do it for yourself so that you know your body, you know what works for you, and someone else can even help you or satisfy you in that way. And then the more this hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Continue.
Hello? Yeah,
I think it's a big lag. Yeah.
Hello? Okay, so I just wanted to know, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly, loudly, perfectly.
Oh, hi. Sorry. Okay, so it makes it so easier. So we are kind of conditioning the world telling us. And as Christians, I think if you are a young person or anybody listening, you should know that it isn't the right thing. And I think the devil really wanted to be the new normal for us, that you have to get to know yourself sexually, masturbate, get to know, do this. And the more you do these things, the more actually you get addicted to these things. And then in the long run, you might be exploring it in the negative or in the wrong way that you can ever do, just as our young man is. So I think one caution that we really have, it's okay, get to know yourself, masturbate, buy dildo, do this, do that. It is not of God, or it's not the right thing. Plus, it can even lead us to several addictions and disorders that we don't want to get ourselves into.
Right. Thank you so much.
You should rather practice discipline. And I like it. I think Danny mentioned it. Discipline, and then so that we'll be able to curb such behaviors or even not get into it. Because as one panel said, immediately you try, it's really difficult to stop or just move away from it. So I think that was my take. That's my take about pornography and sexual activities or behaviors.
Okay, thank you. That was an insightful one. The next, I'll ask Robert for his take, if he can hear me, especially as a man.
Why do you hit on as a man?
Well, the guy is a man.
Anyway.
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Yeah, Robert, please let me take your take.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I think Pastor Drake have said it all, but the little I want to say is that like firewood, smoke coming out. If you don't want to see smoke, then there's no need of putting fire into a firewood. Once it burns, definitely there'll be a smoke. All that I want to say is that once you try to watch pornography, the temptation for you to go on with the masturbation and other stuff is very high. But nowadays you have so many platforms where people just easily put all kinds of videos and pictures on platforms. So you can easily see, but once you see, you just have to forget or delete it. But once you try to watch it one or two, then you have to know that the smoke will come out. So the easiest way is that once you see, you just have to delete and forget. Don't try to say you want to see how it's going to be. So that's all that I will say about it.
Thank you so much, Robert. I would have to go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at more questions. If he can marry this girl after he slept with both her and the mother, if he can go back to his Redeemer, and if a third baptism is really necessary. This is Real Talk. We'll be right back. Do not go anywhere.
Hello, my dear family, my friend, my big brothers and my sisters. Today is another day on Family Life.
School is an extension of the home. Then the teacher's role actually goes beyond just teaching.
Some people say that insurance is like a parachute. Okay? Insurance, you know when you need a parachute? When you drop from an airplane or from a cliff, and then just when you land, your parachute has to come alive and then carry you. So insurance is like that. If you don't have it when you need it, you will never need it again, because you are going to die anyway.
So when you let stress come over you and people are saying this, and because for our society, if you don't have a child, but please, you have your own timetable, and God have a special timetable for you.
Self-care is so important right now. If you are not alive tomorrow, you can't get the job that will be available tomorrow. So when you are going through all these job crises, whether you've lost your job, about to lose your job, or believe you are not even going to lose your job, think about your health first.
Family Life, every Thursdays at 8 p.m.
If you want your business to be very successful, to reach or to have the international flavor, or to transcend to your children and to your children's children and your children's children's children, the best thing to do is to bring in partnership.
You don't need money at all to be innovative.
Right.
But I'm not going to say you don't need money to start a business. A lot of people always think that yes, you need money, but even the way you go about even accessing the funds can find a solution in innovation.
Doing business is about taking risk, and risk involves fear.
Okay.
Because you can never tell the end from the beginning, but you still have to do something.
If you spend out of your sales, you run a risk of not accounting for your sales. You may not know exactly how much you have sold and how much you have spent, because you are mixing them up.
Meet our subject matter experts every evening on this channel, where we bring your way the Hope Business Forum version 2.0.
Hope Business Forum, Tuesdays at 8 p.m.
Welcome back from that quick break. Before we went on the break, we looked at our story. We took everybody's opinion on the story. We looked at a very interesting or very sensitive point, which is pornography, masturbation, addiction. And now we are going to look at if this guy can go ahead and marry the girl if he wants to, after sleeping with the girl's mother. Is it even a taboo? The spiritual implications of that. So I'll go straight into the discussion. When you're having a very interesting conversation, the time moves very fast, so we would have to do it.
I'm surprised.
So that we can have our points across. So, Daniel.
Yes.
So he said he slept with the daughter. Then he went to ask the mother. He went to ask the mother permission to marry the girl, and ended up sleeping with her too. So now the mother and the daughter. Can he still go ahead and marry the girl after this act?
Leviticus chapter 18, verse 17. The Bible says that do not have sexual relations with both a woman and her daughter.
Wow.
Yes, that sums it up.
All right.
Let's answer that question. So he can't, right?
So he can't. Apart from the Bible. Number one, if he neglects the Bible and goes ahead, he will hurt himself and hurt the lady. He is not ready for marriage. He needs to work on himself. He needs to work on himself. He needs to get out of this. Because you're doing it with a mother. How many other girls will you do it with?
I know, right?
So he has to work on himself. Actually, if he loves the woman or her mother, he shouldn't marry. He shouldn't go ahead to marry, apart from the Bible. So my take is what the Bible says.
Right.
The Bible says what it means and means what it says.
Exactly. Cynthia, will you disagree?
I agree with him.
Okay.
It's a no-go zone. It's a non-starter. I think, what is the basis of the foundation of the marriage going to be? Are you going to confess to the girl and say that this is what I've done with your mother, however, I still love you and I want to marry you? No, it doesn't. I mean, for me, it's just no. He should just look for a nice way of trying to take himself out of that relationship completely.
Yeah.
Both of their lives. What does Matthew 5:30 tells us? If your right arm is worrying you, it's causing you to stumble and fall, just cut it off. So just cut off that part of your really. It's a non-starter.
It's a non-starter.
No.
Cynthia and Daniela are on the same page. It's a non-starter. So I'll go to resident clinical psychologist and ask, but is this a taboo? I don't know. Mr. Davis, is this a taboo in our part of the country, in our culture? And also, can he go ahead and marry the woman? I mean the child, the daughter. I don't even know which woman he's going to marry now. If you can hear me, please.
Yeah, I can. Thank you for that. The thing is, normally when we are treating sexual addiction, there are support groups. I'm yet to find out whether there is an addiction or a sex addiction support group in Ghana. What he needs now is to forget about getting married, either to whoever. Number one, he needs to come clean to the young lady and say, look, I am sorry, I have an issue. I have this issue, without necessarily mentioning the mother's name. Okay, we normally say, it is good to be very open and confess, but also be careful the extent to which that confession can also damage other relationships. Let that girl go to the mother and say, Kweku says he's not going to marry me again. And hopefully let the two of them, let the mother now have the courage to inform the daughter, whatever it is. But the gentleman should break that relationship and seek help. This is not going to be a walk in the park. There's going to be a thorough intake assessment. Like Jemima said earlier on, this thing could go back. So typically when we're dealing with sex therapy, sex addiction therapy, there are at least a minimum of 40 questions that we ask. Assessment. On the assessment form, there are 40 questions, and those 40 questions can dig a little deep, and some of them could be, as Jemima even alluded to earlier on, were you abused as a child or as an adolescent? Did your parents have trouble with sexual behavior? Do you often, do you often find yourself preoccupied with sexual thoughts? And if you're not having that, does it affect you? Do you become anxious? Does it have an impact on you? There is a certain need, or there's a lack of something in him, unfortunately, that he's using this sexual behavior to fill. And not until that which is broken right from how long is fixed. Whoever he attaches himself with, this problem is going to be persistent. And it's gotten to a point where he needs more than one woman to even satisfy him.
Right.
He needs more than one woman to satisfy him. And even if he has one or two, it will still never be enough. It will still not fulfill his need. So number one, this kind of issue, I don't know which part of the world that will be acceptable. Okay, so the question about whether it is a taboo, I believe that in almost any culture, that will be completely unacceptable. In fact, by this, he'll be breaking even the laws of the country, I suppose. You don't have you sleep with your mom and your mother-in-law to be and your wife to be at the same time. So let me quickly say that he can go ahead to get married to this young lady. He will be plunging her and whoever else and the entire family and their children to be into serious trouble. What is going to be the relationship with the mother-in-law to be? What's going to be the relationship with the children if they have grandparents? You know, how would they refer to their grandma? Are they going to keep this secret between the two of them for the rest of their lives? No. He needs to seek help. Going for a third baptism is not going to fix it. What he needs is a clinical treatment. Addiction, especially sex addiction, is like mushroom. It grows in dumpy places. What he needs is, if he can't get a clinical psychologist or therapy to help him, I think he should speak to his pastor or some trusted, matured person who can hold him accountable for a weekly accountability meeting, and then a few things that he needs to do to help him safeguard or protect himself in getting into this addictive behavior. So, in short, marriage, he isn't ready for it. His focus should be to step out there and seek help from the most appropriate place. Prayer has its place, but God will not do for you that which he has given you the resources to do. Okay? If you have malaria, prayer will help, but go and see the doctor as well.
Right.
See this as a disease. See this as a cognitive problem. Step out there and seek support.
Thank you so much. Jemima, my question to you would be, can he go back to his Redeemer? Obviously, he's very devastated. He's wondering if God will still take him back because he believes he has sinned beyond repair. And he's even asking if a third baptism will be necessary. So my question to you obviously will be those two. Can he go back to his Redeemer? Should he really go back and baptize again?
Oh, of course, he can go back to his Redeemer. And of course, his Redeemer is always willing and happy and excited to receive him. I mean, which father doesn't want to receive his or her lost son or daughter? So the Redeemer is ever willing. However, he shouldn't forget that he will definitely bear certain consequences that it comes with. Because just as we all say, you don't have to go ahead and marry the lady. Maybe that's one consequence. Maybe she's a good person. The consequence will be you leaving her or letting her go. But then it doesn't mean that you can't come to Christ. Christ is ever willing to accept each one of us. However, as he's coming to Christ, he should come wholeheartedly and be ready to move forward and not turn back. But he should never have the feeling that he even discussed God. No, I think that is why. So he should go back to his Redeemer and then be willing to really listen to what God expects from him and also follow the instructions and not really turn back. However, with the third baptism, I don't think baptism will solve the problem. It's a clinical issue. So you confess wholeheartedly, you forgive you. We all sin. I mean, we all sin. Maybe his is a little nasty, but we all do sin and sin is sin. So he doesn't really have to get baptized again. But then he should confess wholeheartedly, 100%, and then ask for forgiveness. And he should have faith and believe God to forgive him so that he can really move on. And then after that, he should really choose to see a clinical psychologist, as Chaplain David has been, to really help him change or tune his behavior into the positive way. So for now, no marriage. Okay. I mean, I think back then he might have been less complicated. I'm just saying. I mean, the Ashanti region, maybe something like that would have happened to them.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, that's my take.
Okay, thank you so much. Robert, I'll ask, what do you think he should do, and how can he go back to his Redeemer?
I think he needs a genuine repentance. In that he baptizing thinking that baptism will do away with the sin is don't go the area. I think you don't baptize in order, the baptism will take away, baptism will not make us sin. No. Yes, we are sinners. We are ready to take on new life. So if you haven't taken a second baptism and still you are in such act, even common sense to say that you are not supposed to go for third baptism. That is not the solution. I think you have to take what Daniel said. You have to purport in your heart that you will not do such things. I think he has actually decided you want to repent. You want to go away from this act. But I think that he has to also have a strong exercise on the mind. That you have to run away from certain friends, certain movies, certain things that he has been doing. I think that's what he can do to what? Help himself.
Right.
But doing thinking that will do away with the feeling and then the desire to have those things, it will not help. No, that's not the way to go. Like pastors have said, the psychological move that he needs to take. He has said it all. Okay.
Thank you so much, Robert. So you guys in the studio, I'll just ask, what should he do? Do you think, Cynthia, do you think he should go for the third baptism?
No, I mean, baptism, dip in, immerse in water. No, it has to come from the heart. Once he's identified that he has a problem, and that's the first step. He knows he has a problem. He needs help. The baptism is not what will give him the help. He has to purpose in his heart that if he's taking a step, is a step for the Lord.
Right.
You know, the baptism is just, for me, is just showmanship, or because he's had a second one, the third one will make a difference. But he needs to get help. And he has to have a conviction that he can do that through Christ. That is it, but not the baptism. No.
That's what you think. Daniel?
Yes. I also think that he doesn't need baptism now. Even if he would need it, it's not now.
Right.
Because he's not out of that that situation. Okay. A public declaration that I am for Christ is what baptism signifies. A public declaration that I used to do this, I'm doing it no more. From today, as you see me get out of this water, you are seeing me for Christ. Question is what his behavior after the baptism, is it reflective of what Christ teaches us?
Right.
So he needs to work on himself. I think that aside the psychological issues, I think he should get somebody who would walk with him through this journey.
Right.
What I mean by that is that he needs to get somebody he trusts, he respects, and he has to be accountable to that person. And that person must be willing to help him daily. You check on him, you ask him to do some things, you find out whether he was able to do it, you celebrate the little successes along the way, and you help him journey on. It is when he has successfully gone through that, and he wants to make a public declaration that today, I have changed. I declare to the whole world that I used to be like this, I'm not going to do that again, I have changed. Then he can go. Right. But for now, I don't think he needs any baptism.
You don't think he needs any baptism?
He doesn't need any baptism.
Right, so I think our panelists...
Even, I think that the third baptism, he actually wouldn't need it. The Lord's Supper, the communion service, it's an opportunity we get every month or 3 months where you get to dine with the Lord and declare also again that you are with the Lord, His Spirit lives in you, His body lives in you, you're going to live aright.
Right.
So I don't think he needs a third baptism. But even if he wants it, this is not the time.
This is not the time. So I'll take some comments that are coming in. This is from Sethina Ifwa Arthur. She says he needs a real talk with a clinical psychologist. Elijah from Kwewu said, seeing is unintentional, but looking is deliberate. So once you watch it, you are in trouble. Eric Sowa says, this is not. How could a mother allow herself to that extent? Such an abomination. Derek Amankwa Edufo says, it must be emphasized that the baptismal waters cannot solve this problem. Okay, Deborah Clement says, it's so sad that your addiction ended you in this abominable act. Thank God Jesus is still interceding and you too have realized your actions. So turn back to him, go to your pastor for prayers and confess your sins to Jesus. After that, go on a break from your normal life, find time to pray and fast for your life and soul. And then he also goes on to say, you need cognitive behavioral therapy Okay, Ruth Jesus says, I think you need to make up your mind and see a psychologist. But for sleeping with both mother and daughter, I don't know if there could be anything like marriage between you two. Okay, Solomon Tabri says, do away with anything that motivates you to do these things, like porn, videos, calendars, television programs that promote such acts, and surround yourself with people who will positively drive your spiritual life, going to church frequently, singing hymns, etc. Then get married.
We form what we call core beliefs based on, historical event or things that have happened in our lives, which become, we form an opinion of ourselves. So,
okay.
and those core beliefs guide our lives. Okay, so there is either loneliness, a vacuum, something there, something that may have happened. What I believe he needs now will be, cognitive behavioral therapy will guide him in planning a therapeutic plan for every day of his life, making sure that he's very aware of every choice that he makes. But I want to say this very strongly. In therapy, counselors have something we call unconditional positive regard.
Right.
I know that this is a very abominable behavior. It is unacceptable, but dealing with for him to have taken these steps, for him to have even gotten baptized, for him to have written to us, should know that this is somebody who is really struggling. And so I will be mindful of words that I use that are so condemn the act but not the person, because he is very redeemable. As long as he's prepared to commit himself to the process, and it's going to be a long, long journey, but he should know that he's not going to go through this all alone. There is help out there, as long as he's prepared to invest in becoming whole. It's a disease, it's an aberration, but there is hope there. It's not all gone. And so he shouldn't give up on himself, and we shouldn't give up on him either by completely condemning him. We should condemn the act, all right, but we should know that, as Cynthia said from the beginning, anybody can fall in that situation, and anybody can get addicted to just anything.
Thank you so much. I think I have just a minute to go. I have a comment from Petra Vilasa, who says, very insightful. I can't read all your comments today, but then I'll still encourage you to keep coming, keep sending them as we have the program, because they make you are virtually part of the conversation. It's an open talk, everybody is involved. So this is a new thing we do on Real Talk now, because I have people from all over the country, all over the world. I would ask you guys to give a last message, like a shout. I know Chaplain has been out of the country for a while, so maybe he has some people he wants to say hi to. Anybody in Ghana you want to, it's been a while. If you can hear me, kindly say some few shout outs to people in Ghana here that you want to say hi to.
Yeah, my family, my brother Sammy and the family, I say hello to them. My dad, Kujoji, Rani, and of course, it's good to see Dan and Cynthia as well. It's been a very long time. So you guys, great to see you. And Evie, yourself, we have a date after this program.
I know. I was just waiting for you not to say
Prince
it.
Emmanuel and Dayspring. I miss you guys really, and all the best to Legon Church folks and everybody else out there. And Angela, Mrs. Angela, Asari, she knows herself.
Yeah.
Yes, Mrs. Angela Asari, she worked this whole thing out, so I do appreciate that.
Okay, we miss you too. Jemima, anybody that you want to say hi to? Anybody in Kumasi? Anybody in the country?
Anybody in Kumasi? Well, not Kumarica,
Yes,
sorry. Shout out to. So Kumarica, I'm actually at Kentucky. I think you should check it out. I know exactly where Kentucky is. So shout out to my friends in Accra. I really do miss them. Esther, Ken, Dr. Stella Pia, Panelists University, and Legon Church members. I miss you all. And even here in Kumarica, shout out to Kweku himself, to Adjoan Standu, coordinator for nursing department, and to Matilda Shre. Shout out to all my friends, and thanks for listening to this show. It was great, and it was actually nice to meet you all. And thank you, Eve. And actually, shout out to Matthew from Hope Channel. Thank you for recommending me.
Thank you so much. Robert, it's your turn. The Cape Coast guys. Robert doesn't want to say hi to anybody in Cape Coast. I think Robert cannot hear us.
My greetings.
Oh, you can hear me?
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, my greetings much. During this all the entire members, especially the youth, the singles. They know themselves.
Thank you.
And then my youth director, Pastor Sumobin, Pastor Garnett, and the Pastor Ochi.
Yes.
All my greetings goes to them.
Yes.
And
Thank
to
you.
you too.
Thank you. Daniel.
Yes.
Please. Who you say, and then leave the number for Elise Mukase.
Yes, okay. So let me do that first.
Yes, very important.
That's my wife's business, so I need to do the right thing. So yes, if you want to contact Elise Mukase, yeah, you can get us on Facebook, it's Elise Mukase, on Instagram, it's Elise Mukase. But you can call us or WhatsApp us on 0268 51 7897. 0268 51 7897. We'll sort you out. All your foodstuff needs are sorted.
Yep.
We are in the 21st century, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, why should you bother yourself when you have to take care of all other things and you still want to go to the market and pick all the products yourself? Why? When there's help out there, we can cut it for you, we can refrigerate it for you, we can cook it for you. What do you want?
They can do everything for you.
Anyway, so my first shout out is to my wife and my lovely kids. Yes, I know by now their mother has put them to sleep. Yeah, but I mean, I appreciate them all. My dad, my mom, I believe they are watching, my sisters, my brothers who are in Siberia because of Corona. Yeah, my brother Samuel and Timothy. Christline Choir, that's a solid choir. It's my family of God, and I love them so much. They know that. And yeah, my church, Bubuashi SDA Church, and the #1 Adventist youth organization in Accra, Accra West Youth. Don't go there.
This advert is too much.
Accra West Youth. We are doing a neckerchief challenge. I don't know why I didn't bring mine.
It's okay. Cynthia, before Daniel lets us sit here for another.
I know, right? Oh, my shout out goes
thank
to
you. I appreciate this.
It goes to, obviously, my McDo family. That's giving me so much pressure on the page.
McDo
I love you guys. Tons and tons, all of you who tuned in to watch. And to the one who helped me to put the piece together, the particular one. The person knows himself or herself. So
no, you said him. Why?
I said him or herself.
Yeah.
It could be a him, it could be a she. I said a particular one.
No problem. We understand. Is that all?
It takes two to tango.
It takes two to tango. And to all my loved ones out there, much love.
Like me.
Yes.
Like
you, Evie. Yes.
Okay. Do I get to give?
Yes. Evie, give shout out.
I thank my family, McDo, like she mentioned. If I start, I won't finish now. Everybody that watches the show, you guys on YouTube, on Facebook, on multi-TV, on your personal TVs. Thank you guys so much. We are always amazed at the support we get. You bring your comments every week. You stay tuned every week. You watch with us. And you even send us your stories for us to discuss like this. So from myself and the entire Real Talk crew, we say thank you. And I'm also saying a big thank you to Chris and Brow for my amazing makeup. She's an amazing person. Check her out on Instagram if you need any help. I hope I'm looking nice. Yes, to look as nice as I am. Thank you. So I'll thank my panelists, those with me in person and those who join me virtually. You guys, it's always amazing finding people that know what they're talking about, that have the knowledge. I always say it takes a village to put together a TV show, and I'm always grateful for the support. So thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you guys so much for coming all the way. We had Ireland, we had Kumasi, we had Cape Coast, we had Accra, we had Accra.
Please, Kumarican.
Sorry, I can't pronounce it. Thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It's always a pleasure coming your way. I'll be by same time next week with another epic story and another amazing panelists. This is Real Talk. We'll come back same time next week, 8 p.m. Thank you so much and have a lovely evening.